Hey guys, welcome to Geeks Talking Geek. This is Bandito Bane, the well-rounded nerd, the Super Spider-Man fan, and the Warhammer noob. And and screw it, it's still Halloween to us. We are still celebrating.
What are you wearing?
Sam from I'm Sam from Trick or Treat.
I have no idea what that is.
It was an anthology story. It was an anthology story that I like watching every year on Halloween because it has like this cool wraparound segments that always intercuts with every story that comes on. So we have Kenzo from.
Hello, Kenzo.
Hello, boys.
How you doing over there?
It's a bit crazy over here at the moment, but I'm staying out of jail. I haven't been
just say the right things and you won't get nabbed by the man.
That's right. I haven't been imprisoned yet for anything inflammatory that I've posted online, and I'm hoping to keep it that way.
Just agree with what everyone's saying. What?
Yes, I will be happy. I will own nothing, and I will be happy.
I will be happy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. And so we also have Reverend Sully.
Hello. How's everyone doing tonight?
So we're gonna today, since it's still Halloween to me, we're gonna do some horror themes. We're gonna talk about vampires. We're gonna talk
dead, man.
We're gonna talk about vampires. We're going to talk about werewolves. We're going to talk about death and death. All right. So first topic of the vampire. Did you guys hear this?
What?
The Blade movie got shelved indefinitely.
Yay! You mean the Bloodline movie starring Blade?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's basically
that doesn't mean that there can never ever be a Blade movie ever again. It just means we won't get the Marvel's attempt at one.
Yeah. So this is the whole story. The first when it was announced back in 2018, it was said it was going to premiere in 2020. But the original writer quit because of creative differences. A director was finally brought in, but then he quit because of creative differences. Another writer came in. He wanted to do this one set in the 20s. A Blade movie set in the 20s, which could have been interesting, but then he quit because of creative differences. And then they had another writer come in where it was basically the Bloodline movie with Blade with the name of Blade. So it was going to be like a bait and switch with Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness and Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
She's a quarter vampire. She's a daywalker. She's a knightly kind of gal. She's Blade's daughter, and you're just gonna love her.
Yeah, and this is the whole thing. And this is the whole thing. And this is the whole thing. That when the new writer, the other writer, that writer quit, and the new writer came in, and then he quit, and he went on online and said how they originally wanted to do the Bloodline movie, where it was going to be like four female vampire hunters.
I keep on coming up with worse and worse things. She's a quarter vampire, half black, and all lesbian. She's Bloodline.
And so she was going to be Blade's tech guy, kind of like Whistler was, and then she would get bitten by a werewolf. And it was like, dude, that's the same theme from Underworld.
I've never watched any of those Underworld movies, to be honest with you. Yeah. That's like, I haven't plumbed that well. Yeah, speaking of plums and thinking of Kate Beckinsale and tight leather.
Yeah. So so the Blade, they've been through 5 writers and 2 directors, and the guy, and what's his name?
Mr. Ali,
Yeah,
Mashura. I don't want to mess his name up.
Mahershala Ali. He's
Mahershala.
Mahershala Ali. He's walk. He's
Kenzo,
threatening
you gotta really nail those kind of names, man, or you're gonna get arrested.
Well, yeah, we
You
we
gotta
potentially
work
may have a
better.
Nigerian prime minister in 4 years, 5 years. So.
Mhm. And Sharia law. You gotta get used to it.
Yeah. So Mahershala Ali.
Inshallah.
Inshallah,
Yeah.
indeed, man. God willing.
What he said. He's threatening to walk if they don't come up with a working script within the next year. And this guy's not a spring chicken.
Yeah, can you blame him though? He's getting on. He's been how many years has it been? It's been about like 4 years, right? Since they announced.
Yeah, and actually it's been 6 years because it was announced in 2018. It was supposed to start filming in
Oh.
Penny a la vodka. That means pasta in a vodka sauce, I think.
Anyways, she confirmed it. Mahershala Ali is now 50. I mean, this guy put like 60 years of his 6 years of his life for this movie, and it's going to. All right, so all right, kind of walk. Gray's up in Japan right now. He's making coffee.
He's making
good
some
morning,
coffee.
Gray.
Yeah, good morning, Gray.
Hopefully he's having his morning glory too, getting out of his system. Not too soft, not too firm, just right.
Well, to be fair, saying that if it was 6 years ago and he's pushing 50 now, so that means that if they would have made the first year within 2 years, he would have been 46. So that's not really good for a whenever they make a movie, they're planning on making more than one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the hope that it's going to do well. So he was kind of too old to begin with.
Yeah, and they might, and a lot of people are saying after like the big reveal that Wesley Snipes did a cameo in Deadpool Wolverine. The fans are asking to have Wesley Snipes praise his role as Blade.
Why not? That's like the sanest thing to do. But of course, that's like no, we can't do that.
Come on, man, he's too old.
He looks great for his age. You could do old man Blade, though. I mean,
but
that would be interesting.
Yeah, but like right now, Wesley Snipes is like in his
63. He's 62 years old.
He's 63 years old, but he looks good.
And then you can legitimately have a bloodline storyline be like, oh, this is my kid. Yeah, I'm getting old.
Yeah.
Getting too old for this shit.
Yeah, and plus Wesley Snipes was around 26 when he did Blade, when the first Blade came out. Like Penella says right here, Wesley Snipes was around 26 when Blade came out.
It's like Desmond in Lost. Penny.
Go ahead, Kenzo.
Oh no, sorry. I was just talking out loud. I've got a cat on me.
Oh, hang on.
I couldn't see which one it is.
He was 36.
Oh, he was 36.
Yeah.
37. I'm not old.
So like
old woman, man. That's from Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Yeah, I remember. So
I actually see some people getting into a discourse last week on Twitter regarding Blade, and it was the sort of meme that you normally have where it says how Twilight should have ended. Edward sitting there with Bella, and then Blade's behind them, implying that Blade is about to slay them.
Yeah.
But the discourse was, well, going by both sets of characters keeping their in-universe traits, Edward would rip Blade's head off. Like if Blade tried to hit him with that samurai sword, it's going to bounce straight off of Edward's stone skin.
Lame.
Yeah.
I avoided the Twilight movies, so I don't know how unique this vampire
look,
power
man,
set is.
I will just say that reading all of the books as a married man doesn't make you a homosexual.
No. I read all the 50 Shades books. I connected
Oh.
with women in a...
Speaking about
Stephanie
Grey.
Myers.
Speaking about Grey, look who's here.
Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
It's truly international in here now.
Yeah.
I kind of just read the first Twilight book, and then I was like, because my wife was reading them, and she finished it, and I read it, and then I was like, oh, well, I'm going to have to read the rest now.
Yeah, so I actually read the first. I actually read the first chapter of Twilight, and I was like, okay, this is too lame even for me. Because one of my guilty pleasures is reading the Laurel K. Hamilton, Anita Blake Vampire Hunter series.
Mm-hmm.
But it was my sister said, "Oh, it's about vampires. Try, you might like it." I read the first chapter, and I was like, "Okay, this is way too lame even for me."
Yeah, and they're not werewolves in it either. They're sort of shape-shifting natives.
Yeah, so this, so it's official that Blade is going into development hell because it's been taken off the timeline for basically the announcements for the upcoming MCU projects. I mean, there's going to be Thunderbolts, Ironheart, Wonder Man, but Blade was taken out.
Wonder Man, yeah.
Yeah, I saw the whole thing, and I was like, why Wonder Man?
Who do you guys would think would make a good Blade other than Mahershala?
I don't know many actors of color. Young. I would prefer someone young. You know what I mean? You just can't say kind of like Idris Elba. I want to say Johnny Boyega for everything. But Johnny Boyega is just wouldn't fit that part. I don't think he would.
Yeah, plus Idris Elba is getting on in the years.
Oh, he's 53, yeah.
Yeah. So you got to look into into TV. Someone who's starting to get into TV and have them be Blade.
So is Will Smith off the table then, even if we age him down with AI?
Yeah.
Michael Jai White.
Michael Jai White would, he's still badass.
Yeah, but I would go to either the indie films or I would go to the either. Oh, here, Michael B. Jordan has Blade.
Maybe he's over 40 now, so it's
but
41.
Yeah,
he's already played Benjamin Grimm.
No, he already played. He played Killmonger in Black Panther, and he was Human Torch in that.
Was he Human Torch? Oh, okay.
Oh, he's 37. All right, he's not that old. He'd be a good age. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he would be actually great. He'd be great.
I think he'd work.
Where's Wallace, man? Strick. Where's Wallace, man? I love The Wire, man. Dude.
Yeah.
What a great show.
Oh, yeah. Great show. I mean, I remember watching The Wire, and my brother, his boss was named Spiros. And that was the name of the Greek.
In season 2.
Yeah.
Love season 2. Fantastic.
Omar, who's the guy that plays him? I remember.
So, oh, Omar, the guy who played Omar.
Yeah. He'd work as Blade.
I think he's too old now.
He's too dead too.
He's too dead.
Yeah.
Well, vampires are technically not alive. I'm not sure about werewolves.
Yeah, but it's like with
Michael Kenneth Phillips. I think is that his name?
He was one of my favorite characters in the show, for sure.
Kenneth Williams. Yeah, he passed away during COVID. Like he OD'd.
Oh, it sucks.
Yeah,
he had to have it.
Oh, you say Kenneth Williams, Eric?
Yeah.
He was it's just the same name, but he was as a star of the old Carry On films in the UK.
Yes.
Many years ago.
Matron.
Oh, Matron.
What about Shamar Moore from SWAT?
I don't know who that is, dude.
Yeah, hang on, let me pull up a picture of him.
Like you guys were saying, we need an old man Blade with Wesley Snipes back. That'd be great.
Yeah, a lot of people have been talking about having Blade we're talking about like having Wesley Snipes reprise his role as Blade.
Yeah, they'll try and milk him. If they did, they'd try and milk it for everything it's got. Eventually, they'll be wheeling him out in a wheelchair and stuff.
Yeah, so
they would if they could.
I don't know if this guy would work.
I definitely think
Shamar Lewis. He's great.
Yeah,
I love Criminal Minds. He's a bit too light skinned, though. I think you know what I mean. But should that be I don't know. Is that make it? Am I too judgmental or
with the right color grading? I'm sure the editing team could fix that in post.
Yeah, I just hate that. Yeah, well, I think he would be good. He would be good as Blade, but I'm not sure. Like
I've got to say though, I do think that they are kind of suffering a little bit of superhero movie fatigue.
Shamar Moore, he's 54.
He's 54.
He's in great. He's in great shape though, dude.
Oh man,
I think this just proves it. Like people,
and he's doing like an action driven series right now. SWAT.
Yeah, he's been doing it for 20 years or so. So when he started, he was in his 30s. Yeah. Criminal Minds. That's a great show. I love that show.
Oh yeah, my dad loved watching that show.
That's where I fell in love with Aubrey Plaza. She was like the evil genius. She was in a couple of episodes.
She's in this other show that my wife likes. It's called Agatha. Have you seen?
Yeah, I heard it.
Yeah, I heard
liked it.
Yeah, it's like Agatha all along. I mean, it's not really for
Agatha all along.
It's not really for it's not really for like us who are.
No, it's not really for us.
No, it's for why not?
But it's like it would be like Geeky Sparkles from Clownfish TV says she loves the show.
Yeah, so, that's what I mean. Yeah. My wife liked it, and sometimes as a husband, you have to sit down and watch the wife shows with her sometimes. And
and I had my doubts with Agatha all along when the people on the red carpet were saying, "Oh, it's going to be the queerest show in the Marvel universe," and I'm like,
the gayest show. What do you think?
The gayest show, and I'm like, I don't know about that.
I was just that one dude,
and it's like, and I'm like, I don't know about that because I want to like watch superhero shows for the action.
I watched all of that, and I watched the whole of She-Hulk, and She-Hulk was 25 times gayer than Agatha all along at least.
Was it? Which was worse?
Even with Wiccan?
I probably enjoyed Agatha all along more, if I've got to be honest. Just, if take it for what it is at face value as a show, I enjoyed it. You know?
Yeah, and well, since we're in the Halloween season, it's about a witch.
Mm-hmm. It's about a witch. It kind of shit all over Marvel lore and stuff, but like I said, you take it at face value for what it is. It was a fun show.
I'm at the point where it's like, I can respect and realize that MCU has been divergent all along.
Yeah.
Because Tony comes out of the closet, I am Iron Man right there in 2008. He had a secret identity for a very long time in Avengers. Like he was lying to like his friends for years.
Yeah, and he says how Iron Man was just his bodyguard, and he was just the guy who paid the Avengers for everything.
Right. He ran the show, and then Jarvis is a human being, the butler of Avengers Mansion. And it just all down the line.
Yeah,
there are like little divergences like the entire time. So
I mean, I did like Agent Carter because it was very
Tony Stark inventing Ultron. No,
no,
that's not good. There were so many changes that were unnecessary.
That lush wakasashi is on.
Hi, nanda desu ka? Nani?
Turning Japanese. I think I'm turning Japanese. Thanks, Eric.
I really think so. No sex, no drugs, no wine, no women, no fun, no sun. No, whether
how's it going, Salty? Thanks for showing
Salty, how are you? I was talking to Salty last night. I was watching Halloween 2, and I'd forgotten how good it actually is as a sequel.
Yeah.
It's a really good film.
Like it's like one of those rare movies that goes beyond the original.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's interesting. Yeah, it just takes place like minutes after the.
Yeah, it picks up, doesn't it, right
one.
after Halloween finishes. It's great. And Donald Pleasance is awesome. Well, he's always awesome.
Yeah. And especially even if he's in one of those like Giallo movies. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of those Giallo movies. He was
I really never watched any of those. That's on my list of things to do. Maybe next year's 31 Days of Halloween.
Yeah, like one of the best ones was like it had Jennifer. Who was that girl who played Betty Ross in Ang Lee's Hulk?
That was Jennifer Connelly.
Yeah, it was Jennifer Connelly and Donald Pleasance in I don't know. Hang on. It's Jennifer Connelly, and this was basically a Giallo film that actually inspired a horror game.
I got a thing for Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. I think it's like my favorite of all of them.
Oh yeah.
It's terrible, but it's actually pretty insular. It's a pretty it's a good story onto its own. I remember reading
it was Phenomena.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I mean, like the original idea for Halloween was supposed to be like an anthology series.
Mm.
Like every iteration was going
different.
to be.
It wasn't supposed to be about Michael Myers and Laurie Strode. It was supposed to be like on this night in Halloween in this town, this happened.
Yeah, and like the whole if you watch the Brendan Tennell review of Halloween 3, he says that he has the most evil. The main guy who was the head of Silver Shamrock, he has the most evil plan of just saying, it's just a prank, brah.
I like what Salty says here about Jamie Lee Curtis's endowment. Yes, please.
Oh, yeah. And she still looks good for her, someone her age.
You just like cougars, don't you?
Yeah.
That's fine.
All right. So let's go on to the next one.
Well, let me ask a question since we're on the subject of vampires. What was the first vampire story that you can remember reading? Not a movie. I'm like, it's like a vampire story.
I think it would be like vampire breath from Goosebumps.
Ooh,
I love
Goosebumps.
I would one of my things is that I would love reading these things that I wasn't allowed to read when I was living with my mom, because she was a Jehovah's Witness, and I would have some Goosebumps. And I read like Werewolf Fever Swamp and
Yeah, we have those.
yeah.
My kid's obsessed.
Yeah, and I actually enjoyed it. Enjoyed it. I mean, a bunch of kids who thought they were normal kids, but turned out they were vampires at the end.
Yeah, I remember Vampire Breath.
Yeah. It was like it was like they thought that they thought they were normal kids, but it's like, oh, and they were like, oh, by the way, happy birthday, you're both vampires. All right, speaking about vampires, did anybody see the new Salem's Lot remake?
No,
I think that was one of the first vampire movies I watched as a kid. Like my dad let me watch it. But the first book that I ever read about vampires was The Little Vampire. It's a German book. It got made into a movie and a TV show. It's like a kid's children, but it's about a boy that has a little vampire as a friend, and he gets introduced to the vampire family and stuff. I think in the movie there's a scene with a vampire cow.
Yeah, I remember watching that. But I saw it last week, and it was just such a disappointment. A lot of people were saying that the original Salem's Lot was just too
good.
No, but they would say it was just too slow. And
the original Salem's Lot, 79.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it had a different pacing because it was made for TV. It had to fill 3 hours worth of time over 2 nights. So the movie itself, its running time is 180 minutes. So it's
yeah, but it was like this one. It just kept going too fast, and it was actually made by the guy who did the Conjuring movies and Annabelle. So yeah, it still tried holding that late 1960s, early 1970s aesthetic.
Yeah, it looks like it's just kind of ripping off the Tobe Hooper 1979
so iconic.
Yeah, because it just has that look to it. So it's like you're going for that like Stranger Things, like nostalgia vibe when you could have just put it in the now. That's all,
Yeah, but could have made it a trans vampire or like.
Yeah, but one of the things I found so stupid was basically the crosses would glow, and I'm like, what? I mean,
in the original?
No, in the new one.
Oh, because they kind of would too. It was like in the original. Because it's just the thing of the light, and maybe that was the energy between the vampire and the cross.
Yeah, but this was like a whole thing, and they would hold it like light, like if it was a lightsaber, and it's like, no, I mean it
repels them. It depends. Anime vampires don't like them because of it confuses their eyes. Something to do with they can't work out the angles. But traditionally, it's supposed to be the power of Christ. It is repelling these evil, soulless demons that have inhabited a poor, dead person's body.
Yeah. Watching, what was it? Taste the Blood of Dracula, to the 1974. No, it's the Satanic Rites of Dracula. It's 1974 Hammer movie with Peter Cushing as Van Helsing and Christopher Lee as Dracula, and the whole trap that Van Helsing does to get Dracula this time, because it's the 6th movie in the series. So there's only so many stakes to the heart you can do. You got to what Van Helsing does is just lead him through a brush of hawthorn and Hawthorne's, thorns.
Yeah,
Because
it
that's
is.
what
Yeah.
that was the crown of thorns that Christ wore was made out of hawthorn, and so that's what that was your
Yeah.
Jesus
Yeah.
angle.
Okay. Great. Gray says Mrs. Wakasashi is up making some bakery, so I'll stay muted until she's done.
Oh, I want to hear her yell at you.
So
Does she yell at you in Japanese or in English? You know what I mean? I bet you
yeah.
it's Japanese.
So like one of the things that was like very disappointing. I mean, one of the things about I remember from the 1979 original was the climax in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But
in the basement, and like the root basement, and like
yeah, and that
get the door, and he shuts the door.
Yeah, you have the whole simple tension builder of
Yeah.
slow moving vampires trying to come out of the root cellar. There's like 3 or 4 of them in there, and the kid doesn't know that the door is open behind him.
Yeah, and it reminded me a lot of the Hammer movies. But
Mhm.
now you got in this one, it's actually a drive. It's actually they actually have a drive. They actually do the final confrontation in a drive-in, where they actually have all the vampires in their trunks, in the trunks of their cars, and basically there's this one tension filled scene where the vampires are coming out, but then they can't go past the screen because it's still sunlight. So when the kid gets in a car and drives it through the support structure, and it knocks over the screen, and the vampires are set on fire. And I'm like, oh come on, that's just too Hollywood for like a classic way for a classic vampire movie.
I kind of agree with what Sully was saying. Like, I'm all for the nostalgia, like the retro Stranger Things vibe. It worked for Stranger Things, definitely. But you kind of do then get sort of copycat trends. When trying to recreate, the nostalgia you get from watching these old classic cult movies, especially something like the Hammer horror movies, they were filmed for what pretty much a low budget by today's standards.
Mm-hmm.
And they were filmed on location in some places in rural England, with period costume and stuff. And that sort of bad quality element of it is part of the cult nostalgia feeling you get from watching it. And for me, if you were going to try and, recreate that vibe today, using modern stuff, it's going to fall flat. It's not going to capture that same, cult vibe that you get from this old stuff. And I agree that when they're making this Salem's Lot one, it probably would have just been better if they tried to set it in modern day times, rather than trying to recreate sort of the late 70s aesthetic.
Yeah, like, ooh, drive-in movie theater. They don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Like, that's like, how 70s can you get?
Also, like, one of the things is like, when do you think? Well, you remember when the first time they showed off Mr. Barlow? It was like an hour into the movie.
Yeah.
They showed him 20 minutes into the movie this time.
Because I think the whole point of the Salem's Lot movie is supposed to be, well, what if we found Nosferatu and these people in a modern day setting? It's not supposed to be like, what if we found him in the 70s? There was no rules to keep it in the 70s, so they should have just kind of.
It was just contemporary.
Yeah,
I
mean, the one that was made in like the early 2000s, it was set in the early 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
And then Rutger Hauer's in that one. He plays the vampire.
Yeah, he's Mr. Barlow, and
well, for sure. Sometimes doing a period piece or trying to set a film in the past, it works, but it doesn't always have to be like that. You don't have to try and just recreate the vibe that they captured from the first one. It doesn't always work.
Yeah, and I think that like some of the new new ideas that they have to try to make the original better actually made it worse, because like the one character that I liked in the new version was basically Mr. Barlow's servant.
Straker.
Yeah, and he actually gets killed halfway through the movie.
Spoilers! I'm just kidding. I'm never gonna watch this.
And it was basically because he was basically like hamming it up. I liked it because he was basically hamming it up in every scene he was in.
Same. I kind of feel bad for shitting on it now because I've not actually seen it either.
But everything that Juan said has like led me to believe that this is a correct choice in life. These are good life choices to make. Avoid this. Don't waste time on this. Waste your time somewhere else.
Well, me and my wife are 2 seasons in of a rewatch of Buffy, so I'm going to continue doing that, and then maybe do Angel afterwards.
He was going to say pick up Angel in season 4, right? Do the crossovers and everything.
Yeah. All right. Anyways, there's a couple new werewolf movies that are coming out,
and just for for Kenzo's thing, real quick, is like if you can fit in the movie. I mean, that's such a wonderful vampire.
Yeah, the Buffy. That's awesome.
The original vampire movie.
Yeah, Rutger Hauer's in it, isn't he? And
Donald Sutherland and Paul Rubens,
Pee Wee Herman. Yeah.
And it's just I watched it recently. It's pretty short, and it's just really good. And there's like Buffy has like a Spidey sense when she's around a vampire. She kind of gets a menstrual cramp.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And so I think that was like a little detail that I wish they kept in the TV show.
Well, I think Giles does mention in I think episode 2 or 3 that she's supposed to that good slayers, when they have their feelings in check and their emotions in check, that they can sense vampires. And she says, "I'm a teenage girl. What teenage girl do you know that has their emotions in check?"
Yes.
All right.
So they kind of made an excuse for it.
All right, so there's going to be 2 new werewolf movies coming out next year. One's Universal movie called The Wolfman. I have not seen the trailer, and the other one actually stars the main. You remember the guy who played Crossbones in Captain America?
Yeah. Frank Grillo.
He's going to be he's going to be in more indie one called Werewolves, and we're going to be reacting to these ones.
So I'm guessing Wolfman is going to be like a remake of the 50s Wolfman aesthetic,
I think it'd be more like the Invisible Man that was actually came out a few years ago.
Yeah. So it'll be
it'd be like a completely standalone film.
My son has some of the toys from the Universal Monsters era, where you have like the Wolfman.
Those are so iconic. I mean, and there's that. Is it Boom Studios that's doing it? It's Skybound. Skybound Image. They have like the Universal Monsters license, and they did Creature from the Black Lagoon with Ram V and Dan Waters. There's a Dracula one, and he looks like the Bela Lugosi, and then they're doing a Frankenstein one, and it looks like
Boris
Karloff.
Boris
Karloff.
What
I mean? And so these are the iconic versions of these Universal characters.
I remember we had Monster Squad in the 80s.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah.
All right, so here's the one for Wolfman.
It's Universal.
Hey. Ginger, are you okay? Look at me. So, are you hurt?
Is he talking to me?
Are you okay?
Hello.
Hey, we gotta get out.
Ginger.
Hey, no. Don't move. Climb up through the window right there. You can do it. You'll be okay.
Oh, that's that one skip from Ozark.
We have to leave right now. Run.
Wow.
Hello? Can anyone hear me? Hello? We were in an accident.
Daddy, are we gonna die?
No, it's my job to protect you.
And we were attacked.
Oh no.
I think my husband was infected. Mike. Mike. Mike.
Daddy,
Whoa.
Daddy, what's wrong with Daddy?
He got sick.
It's a metaphor.
What is
When
happening?
a couple drifts apart, he becomes an animal. He
Can you
changed.
understand me? Yeah. You're scaring me.
Back off! Please, Daddy's mean. Hurry, Mommy is coming.
All right.
It looked like a werewolf movie.
Yeah, I think I'll give it a chance, maybe.
Yeah.
But
It looks atmospheric and moody.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's done by the same guy who did The Invisible Man.
It
And
looks like it would probably be full of jump scares, especially if you saw it in the movies.
yeah,
Yeah.
but like the next one I'm going to show you guys is more action packed.
We'll be the judge of that. That had that one chick from Ozark in it. That was the only
Mhm.
person I recognized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bite me.
Okay. This one has a vibe already from the outset. I can see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I said, this one's more action based.
Mom?
Wow. Happening again.
Uncle Wes, why can't you stay?
They need me to help them try and stop this. We're the only family we have left.
We got this.
Cody! What are you doing, man? You should kill somebody.
We are all soldiers now.
Tonight, when that sun sets, it's gonna be every man for himself.
We have a 9-hour window to test and report our findings. We hope to see if this mutation can be blocked.
Let's go over the rules.
Don't open the door for anyone.
Don't hesitate for a second.
Hoorah! Hoorah! Hoorah!
Good luck tonight.
Canopy retraction commencing.
Always a bad idea. When will people learn? You can't weaponize a werewolf.
Oh God! Those things are coming for us.
I'm here.
Bite me.
Bite.
Yeah, this one's more of an indie like more indie based, but I mean pretty much got Frank Girillo.
I think this is part of the trying to revamp the traditional 80s style American action hero genre.
Yeah,
and tying in some werewolves with it. Looks watchable.
Yeah,
very
Yeah, right. He has that commando vibe.
Yeah.
Let's get my Jenny. Don't. My friendy is dead tired.
There's going to be some one-liners, some good.
Sorry. Remember I said I'd kill you last.
shots.
I lied.
Remember that. You remember that? Like, you just see the first shot that they show of it. It was a one-liner.
Yeah, bite me. This is supposed to have been like it was originally written as a Arnold Schwarzenegger movie in 1984.
Right, there's going to be some cool montage. There's going to be some cool montage scene where they're setting up the base,
weapons
with stakes and showing his big muscles as he's doing it.
Yeah.
Right.
Gray says it looks pretty good, but it's like is it the ultimate bad dad trope?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think he's talking about Wolfman. Like,
Daddy's a werewolf. What are you going to do now? It's like the worst dad ever.
Yeah, I mean, like one of the things that looks like one of the things that like I remember about the Invisible Man was basically woman who thinks she's going crazy because her supposedly dead husband has been haunting her, but she says he's made a suit that basically makes him invisible. But now it's kind of
like Gone Girl in reverse.
Yeah. And this one it looks like the guy's trying to not hurt his family. He's not trying to hurt his family. Oh.
Come by.
Well, let's be honest. In the in-universe story, the guy's been attacked by a animal that he didn't see. He got scratched. Maybe they thought, fuck, that looked like a werewolf, but let's just say one of us got scratched. You'd be like, well, werewolves don't exist, And then Sully starts to get sick, and we're like, shit, what happened to Sully, man? Like, this is like, we'll be like, are you okay, Sully? Did you take the vaccine, bro?
Into a monster after the wedding vows. After the wedding night, and the knickers come off.
But I'm sure he didn't think he was going to turn into a werewolf, is all I'm saying. And then once he's turned, and it's too late, This
is called season 2 of Buffy, when, you know what I mean? Like, and when Angel sleeps with Buffy, and like he changes, he becomes an asshole. This
Oz turns into a werewolf.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. It's a long story. Got bit.
Yeah. It's not. He has to lock himself up. So I think once you become aware, then you can take precautionary measures to ensure that you're not, going to hurt anyone on the nights of the full moon. But once you've turned, in most stories, they don't tend to have control.
And that's the thing. And that's the thing with this upcoming Wolfman movie. They don't know what a werewolf is. They don't even know what's going on. But like with werewolves, it's more action based. They know what's going on. They basically know how to fight them.
And to be fair, the first one, the Wolfman, it had a female protagonist, so they, for the most part, don't really know what's going on.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. So, like, here's one thing I'm gonna start doing every time we do Geeks Talking Geeks. I'm gonna spotlight an indie comic, and since it's Halloween, we're going to be spotlighting the Book of Nosferatu.
Which one?
It's It's basically a comic book based on the original Nosferatu, a graphic novel based on the 100-page graphic novel based on the original Nosferatu silent film. It's done by Michael Morciari and Tordor Hristov.
Mm-hmm.
Now this is like Michael Morciari did Barbaric and Dick Tracy. Tordor Hristov did Stranger Things, the Stranger Things comic, and the art just looks beautiful.
I picked up Nosferatu about 2 or 3 years ago. I got a really nice set because I got the premium tier, but it was by Pierre Berg, the artist known as Narwhal in Comicsgate, and it's really, really good because it's very subtle. I mean, if you've heard me go on about digital assisted art in comic books, and I usually find it distasteful, there are very few artists that I think that pull off the digital medium really well. Pierre Berg is definitely one of them. It's cartoony and simple, but at the same time, it uses that cartooniness as its advantage. It's a great way to read the Nosferatu story, which has its divergences from Dracula, from Bram Stoker's Dracula. It's got a completely different ending.
Yeah, because the widow of Bram Stoker's wouldn't let the original silent film crew use Dracula as the main antagonist, so they made him into Count Orlov.
Right? Yeah, it was like they couldn't get the rights or something.
Yeah,
and they just adapted it, and that's went with it.
Yeah,
what a wonderful movie too.
Yeah, I mean, Midnight's Edge did an entire night of showing the original Nosferatu.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Like the Salem's Lot vampire sort of,
yeah,
draws off of that original Nosferatu image.
The Max Schreck, yeah.
The problematic one. Well, because that's this AI overview from Google. When it talks about the Nosferatu movie, it says Nosferatu is a German horror film that has been noted for its possible anti-Semitic undertones.
I can see that.
That is bullshit.
No,
the film is based on Bram Stoker's Dracula and may have drawn some of its themes from that novel. Some say that analyzing the anti-Semitic tropes in Nosferatu can provide an insight into the attitudes towards Jewish people in the Weimar Republic. However, others say that interpreting the film as anti-Semitic does not necessarily mean that the film is connected to the Holocaust, nor does it indicate that the film's creator was himself anti-Semitic.
That's just like saying the Golem movies were basically anti-Arab before, but and they were made in the 1920s.
I don't see the connection personally.
Because the Golem was basically based off they made a trilogy of movies based off the Israeli legend of the Golem.
Oh, okay.
But like one of the things was like, it's like saying how the Golem is like anti-Arab today, and it's like, oh,
well, it was the Renfield analog who visually had that whole stereotypical look of it that I can see. I can see that through like a modern lens and through,
But
I think they say it's connected to the fear of the other. They were trying to paint him as like an outsider, and that's why people were scared.
Yeah, and it's like
you got to think this film come out like in a totally different time,
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Now, there's one thing that we could always depend on in life: Texas.
Do you say Texas or taxes?
Taxes. Just kidding. It's death. And just recently, we had the death of an entire of a run that just recently this week we had a death of a run that just left a black mark on one of the greatest comic book characters of all time. We're going to talk about Zeb Wells' Amazing Spider-Man run and the fans' revolt against Nick Lowe at NYC New York Comic Con. Now, I hated the Nick Lowe run or the Zeb Wells run. I think it left too many loose ends. His final comic left too many loose ends.
Kenzo, did you read any of like the past couple of Amazing Spider-Man issues?
No, I didn't. Was this the one with the strange green goblin?
No,
thing in it, and
no, it's actually the one with it's actually the final battle between Spider-Man and Tombstone.
I think Gray is totally up to date on Spider-Man.
I'm not.
I know he is.
I'm definitely not.
Yeah.
I've not been reading them all. I've kind of jumped in and out since,
You said that, so you haven't read 58, 59, and 60?
I've skimmed through it. I got a few copies, so I had a look.
Okay, I like 58, 59. I like those ones.
Yeah, but like
good fight scenes.
60 was like one of the it left too many loose ends, and it's like Nick Lowe's way or Zeb Wells' way of saying, "Here's my mess. Try and clean it up if you can." I especially hated the team up short story because like after the fight when you have Mary Jane and Peter they're like end up pouring their hearts out to each other, and it's just clear that they have that they want to be together, but then it's like, now let's go on a double date with a guy with the editor self-insert who destroyed his own planet and a comic book extra who'll probably be forgotten next year. It's like it's just so it's like he wants to, like Nick Lowe or Zeb Wells wants to double down on the character of these characters, but they're not liked. They caused fan outrage and vitriol, so it's not even like no one will give this guy will give Paul or Shay a chance, only unless like Paul turns heel.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's gonna I hope that happens like when Chasm gets involved with their love with like the whole love triangle and thing like that, and Paul gets jealous because MJ is spending more time with Peter as a superhero, and it just shows his true colors. But I know that's just wishful thinking. But
I want to hear Eric's vitriol and outrage defending the run.
Oh, no, I mean, what saves me is I'm not taking the Zeb Wells. I don't take Zeb Wells or Nick Lowe too seriously.
Yeah, same. Nick Lowe takes himself too seriously for anybody else, doesn't
he? Yeah, I'm
the good parts about this run have been, I think it's just John Romita Jr.'s and Scott Hanna's remarkable art that still pencils in Bristol and inks, and you get a feel for that. There's a visceral feel. There's line weight. This is the last of the great artists, and I've been reading. Like I pulled out we talked about this on West this morning. I pulled out an issue of ASM I have. It was 249 from 1983. Not the copy I bought, but a replacement copy. And it's John Romita Jr. He's being inked by Dan Green. But I mean, Romita's been on and off this Amazing Spider-Man for over 40 years. Mm-hmm. And I've been in just what a ride. What an artist. I'm so honored to be a fan of his. And just to see his style and to evolve, on one particular subject, Peter Parker Spider-Man, and his cast of characters.
No way! I didn't know he'd been on that long. I thought
Yeah.
was that not his father, John Romita?
That's incredible. I mean,
Yeah.
but
Wow.
like one of the things that really got me during this run was not seeing Peter evolve as a character. I mean, like, say what you want about Nick Spencer, but it seemed like Peter was finally evolving as a character in his run, but not it, but like with Zeb Wells, it's all the way back to square one.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
That seems like these old characters, like Peter Parker's 62 years old now as a property.
Yeah.
Bruce Wayne, he's 81 years old.
Yeah, but
Clark Kent's 82. I mean, they have to, they do grow, but they're more successful and they're more accessible when they're iconic and when they're what you expect.
Mm-hmm.
But
it depends from the reader's perspective, like in terms of Peter Parker. Some people, when they go in to read a Peter Parker book, they'll want their idea of Peter Parker might be, Peter Parker that's a photographer that's just come out of high school, like that age of Peter Parker. Some people are not even aware of the modern iterations of Peter Parker, where you had Parker Industries or stuff. Unless you're a comic book reader, you're not going to know that kind of stuff. So I think it depends. If you're a first-time comic book reader coming into it, and your only real reference point is, say, the MCU movies, for instance, then yeah, you're going to maybe expect, a younger, up and coming Peter. Well, it may be established Peter Parker, but still that young, plucky teen dropping the one-liners, rather than a adult Peter Parker that's going through divorces and having children or whatever.
Yeah, but this is the thing, like the best solo heroes, they have been going through certain changes which help their characters grow. I mean,
character arc and
look at Superman. Married.
Like what happens to Peter over 60 issues? He just basically, Zeb Wells does what he's supposed to. He puts the action figures back into the toy box where he found them for the next kid to play with. And you try not to break the toys or burn them like we used to.
Yeah. But he didn't put the toys back in.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I felt like.
I know though they tend to have sort of laid down established rules for the Peter Parker character and the Spider-Man universe.
Yeah.
And when you're writing a story, obviously, like Eric said, you're going to try and put the toys back without breaking them. You're going to try and leave your mark on it, but without upsetting too many people. But like the character, like you said, he's 62 or whatever. Like now, in reality, like if you go over every single story arc, all of the stuff that he's been through, like you can't take all of that into account. You just have to have them fundamental, character traits that we all know about Peter Parker, and have your best attempt at using the group of villains that we've got, or you can always introduce a new one if you actually can write one.
But sorry, Kenzo, but it's like when you try, like, look at they say that Peter can't have any family stability, but look at Batman. He has a son. Superman, he has a son and a daughter. Blade has a daughter.
Yeah. What I'm trying to say, Bandito, is okay. Let's imagine in 30 years' time, is Batman's current family that are being in the comic books, are they going to be relevant then? Are the writers in 30 years' time, if there is still they're not going to carry on the overarching story. They might write them children out and have a reboot where it's a new Batman and he's starting off from his first 10 years.
That's absolute Batman doesn't have that luggage.
But it's like it's like the whole thing with they keep trying to, like, one of the things that I find physically insulting is that they after One More Day, Peter has been in this constant state of irresponsibility, not having him grow as a character. or as a person. And he's supposed to be a character about responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, I have a unique take on Peter Parker, and because Peter Parker is an archetypical hero, and this goes back to Italian opera. And seriously, it's a character named Figaro, and Figaro is the man of Verona, and everyone knows Figaro. Figaro, 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 Figaro. You go to Figaro with your problems, and Figaro's a cool dude. He's handsome, he's young, and people, and it's farcical too because everything works out well in the end. And Peter Parker is Figaro. It's set with like these amazing powers in this backdrop of heroes and villains, but intrinsically, he's the factotum of Verona. He's the guy that gets shit done, and he's popular, and people come to him. Spider-Man,
He's your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Yeah, but what happens when they want to evolve the character of Miles Morales and have him marry Spider-Gwen? Is Peter going to be the 30-something best man hitting on the young bridesmaid, or when they actually or when Miles and Gwen have a kid, is Peter going to be the 40-something deadbeat uncle that can't get a date anymore?
Oh, again,
hey,
mate, we might not have Miles Morales in 10 years. You know, you don't get there's not ever mention of like Kane or Ben Reilly or like these old characters they used to have in the 90s.
We find a 15-year-old clone of Peter Parker, and our older Peter dies, and now we have Peter all over again.
Zeb Wells reintroduced Kane. Actually, Zeb Wells reintroduced Ben Reilly, and he also and Nick Spencer or Dan Slott reintroduced Kane.
Yeah, it's just been a recent 3-issue mini called it was called Chasm
Curse of Cain.
The Curse of Cain, and it was actually it was decent. I don't mind the clone stories.
It's still one more issue. It ends this month.
Okay. Yeah, okay. It's 10 issues. Yeah, 4 issues, and sorry. But I'd read there was a new issue this week. I read that. And I'm like, it's not that bad. I like the design of Chasm's costume. I like, maybe here you go. You're anti-Peter Parker, just right there. And just
and then he's dating the anti-Mary Jane. But
yes,
but, whoops.
I bet you, how he makes Eve put on a Mary Jane mask, when they're intimate.
Yeah, but that's
the thing. If I would pin.
And this is the thing. I know like Nick Lowe and Zeb Wells wanted to have Mary Jane be popular as a superhero, but she's not. She didn't need to become a superhero.
You didn't need her to become a superhero.
No.
The women that work at Marvel do.
But there's two types of people. There's two types of people who will actually benefit from Mary Jane being a superhero. That's the toy manufacturers and the cosplayers.
I'd like to see Miles Morales heel turn.
There has been no toys of Jackpot. There has been of Chasm, there has been of Rep, but there hasn't been any of Jackpot. And there has been no cosplays of Jackpot.
Not yet. You probably will see him sooner or later.
No, hell, I mean, I've seen most of the cosplays going on right now, and I've seen like Mary Jane in the white and blue jean combo. I've seen Mary Jane dressed as Peter B. Parker. I've seen Mary Jane in her one time Scott Campbell outfit where she was
the white shirt and
where she was Red Cat from the Black Cat variant.
I saw a Chris Chan cosplay at London Comic Con.
Oh God!
With the Sonitude medallion.
Yeah, God.
I don't care what people say about all the stupid, like something like Captain Sam Wilson Captain America. Whenever I see a Sam Wilson Captain America cosplayer at a con, I'm always like, Cap, you look amazing, because they got wings and everything. They go all out, and I've never seen a disappointing cap, Falcon cap. They look great, and I'm always, so I'm the first one to say you look amazing.
And but also going back to like your guys' earlier discussion in thinking or comic book aficionados, I don't think that Justine Ireland is going to get the book. I will go against Doc and say I don't think Justine Ireland's going to get the book.
Mariko Tamaki got tech for a year.
Yeah, but she's too green.
You never know. I mean, just
maybe they'll give it to Colin Kelly or.
But then it was the rumor. Yeah, someone said that kind of Lansing and Kelly might be next up for ASM.
Yeah, but it's like get someone worth their salt. Get Chip Zdarsky. He turned down Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yeah, I mean,
have him do ASM.
But that's pretty. Zdarsky is he's more missed than hit. In my humble opinion, he's doing one of my favorite books right now. It's called Public Domain. It's his own thing. He's doing the it's quite meta. It's really fun. It's kind of a commentary. It's very satirical on the fandom, on the industry, on the publication industry of comics itself. It's called Public Domain. It's 9 issues deep. It's pretty darn good. But I can't get. This Batman's terrible, and he's going to bring that same thing over to Spider-Man if he did. I heard his Daredevil was good though.
I don't think it was. He did Spider-Man. He did the Spectacular Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man, and he also did.
I want Paul Jenkins back. Seriously, if I had my pick of Spider-Man writer, Paul fucking Jenkins, because he's amazing. He did so many issues. He did 5 straight years of Peter Parker Spectacular around the turn of the century. He's just Paul Jenkins just knows. He's just got such a great handle on Peter Parker.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not going to be. You're only as good as much as the editor's going to be, and I think that we should get rid of Nick Lowe. I mean, Nick Lowe is just not a good editor.
And just who do you got to replace him then? Too who's next up?
Get a writer.
A bag of donuts would be better than Nick Lowe.
Get a writer to be the editor. A writer who has cut his teeth in the industry.
They don't think like that anymore, man. I mean, this is the publication industry and properties. These are licensed property industries. So it's like I don't think they care about paid publication. I mean, paid circulation. I mean, what does that even mean anymore? You know what I mean?
Just get like J. Michael Straczynski. He's the modern father of Spider-Man.
Yeah, but his Captain America he's doing is terrible. Oh God, it's unreadable, and I look at it every month, and I'm like, oh God, this is terrible.
Yeah, but he did such a great job with Spider-Man. He knew how to do Spider-Man, even though his hits, even his misses, were so well written.
Yeah, I actually, and I don't want to forget this part, but because one thing about Nick Lowe, though, and the whole pushback to obnoxious fans, because fans can be obnoxious. We have to remember that sometimes we are insufferable. Sometimes we are caustic and relentless, too. But one thing I did like about Nick Lowe's answer, that someone accused him of fridging Kamala Khan in ASM 25-26. And I'm like, that fan deserved to get pushed back on, because that's just like, story-wise, Kamala Khan's death in that story was the most heroic thing. She sacrificed herself to save MJ.
But
and
he could have just answered it. He could have just answered it simply. She didn't have her own book. We wanted her to die in a heroic sacrifice, so we put her in the biggest book on our biggest book.
Well, somebody gave these people permission to be fantagonistic. You know what I mean? There must be a permission from the editor-in-chief or HR. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but the thing is that the fans were pushing back, like after like 2 years of a terrible run by Zeb Wells, and then like when you see like when they,
I mean, how many times can you answer the MJ question again?
But the thing is that people are tired of this. Will they? Won't they? Will they? Won't they?
Some people are. I don't care either way.
Yeah, but
honestly, I mean,
I know you don't care, but a lot of people do.
Sure,
like
I get
every
that. I respect
20,
that.
Every 20 Peter and MJ fans, there's like one Black Cat Peter fans. But like when you like, you would not expect people groaning or booing when they unveiled the issue of Amazing Spider-Man 66, because it showed Black Cat kissing Peter, and people were actually groaning and booing, and some even walked out.
I mean, that sounds like, Felicia and Peter have been on again, off again for
They're
like
more
40 years.
They're more like bang buddies.
Sure, wouldn't you like to have a bang buddy like Felicia? She's hot. She probably want to bring a girl back to the bed now too.
Yeah,
one
but
of those spider threesomes.
It's like one of those. It's like one of the things is that if it's like one of the next milestone for Amazing Spider-Man is going to be issue 1000, and it's basically going to be in 3 years.
Couple of years, yeah. I mean, and it's kind of, and it's because it's so inflated. Because remember, it was like 3 times a month, and it was weekly for like just. I mean, that's a really, yeah, man.
But like the thing is that Amazing Spider-Man has fallen off because of the bad storytelling, the bad way they're treating the fans, the characters that they're trying to put over, but they're not, but they don't land. I mean, hell, Ultimate Spider-Man has been outselling them all year. ASM last month, ASM has been didn't even crack the top 20, and they think that they have a better chance, and Marvel thinks they have a better chance with Miles Morales Spider-Man because they're going to make that bi-monthly next month.
Yeah, I mean, Miles Morales Spider-Man. I've been reading it for about maybe a year or more, and it's actually coherent. It's well paced. Cody Ziegler is not that bad. I don't have a bad opinion of Cody Ziegler, and they're just nice little Spider-Man stories. He's young. He's got his own cast of characters. I mean, the whole vampire thing now is kind of stupid, but I mean, it's been as story-wise better. Like as a monthly, as a floppy, just tuning into a Spider-Man story. I mean, Spider-Boy by Dan Slott's been pretty darn good, and Cody Ziegler's Miles Morales has been pretty darn good and consistent.
Yeah, and that's like the complete opposite for Amazing Spider-Man. He's the flagship character.
I haven't been that. Overall for 60 issues, I've been tuned in for basically about 30 of them. So I've read like half of the Zeb Wells run. And I got, I've really been tuned in since Kamala Khan's death. You know what I mean? So I've been I basically have read monthly since then, because like they end up in my pirate chest. So I'll read it, and But I mean, one thing about Wells is I think he starts off a story arc strong, and he didn't know how to. He never landed them very well. Like I was really into that Spider Goblin story, especially when he was in black and had the black glider and everything. That was and the Lincoln Tunnel. I mean, that was like the art in that was really good too. And I mean, I understand the whole Paul thing. I understand. Look, MJ, since she was in that parallel universe, is legitimately 3 years older than Peter now because she was there for 4 years. Canonically, she's 3 years younger than Peter. I mean, 1 year younger than Peter. So
what happens if like every time Peter dies in the upcoming eight deaths of Spider-Man, half of his life force is taken away, and he becomes after 8 deaths, he becomes 4 years older.
That's speculation for one thing, and another thing, like Justina Ireland and Joe Kelly are going to have to do what Nick Spencer did and do what Zeb Wells did and do what J. Michael Straczynski did years ago. Put the action figures back in the toy box, relatively unharmed, for the next writer. You know what I mean? I mean, it's, you know.
Yeah, but this has been the worst Spider-Man run since Howard Mackey. And that was an okay run, but
I think the heart of the Zeb Wells run has been the Tombstone story, and that has been the least disappointing.
Yeah,
like the Wreck Rap stuff, the Spider Goblin stuff, the Rabin stuff. I mean, the Tombstone story was really where it was at. Not even Gang War either.
Yeah, I hated Gang War. It just puts Peter as a supporting character in his own comic book.
Well, yeah, to support all the tie-ins, because that's a publishing initiative. I think sometimes we as fans, we have tunnel vision upon our favorite character with our non-delusional parasocial love for our character.
But when you have like
lose sight that they're just trying to make money and sell magazines.
But when you have like one of the negative things that a critic says about a comic book, it reminds people that MJ's still with Paul. It really shows that the character isn't liked by the fans, and he's never going to be liked by the fans.
I have a theory. It's quasi really, this is like allegorical. I have a theory that George Lucas hired Hayden Christensen to play Anakin Skywalker because he was just a little unlikable. Because eventually he's gonna have to turn into Darth Vader, and you're gonna really not like him. So maybe there's that unlikability that we have for Paul Rabin is because it's so hiding in plain sight that he's gonna have. He's a potential big bad. If some other writer can pick up on that, be like, "Hey, I'm going to give Paul his fucking destiny. He's going to turn into his father. He's going to be the next host for the rap. He's going to be Rab. He's going to be like Omega level too. It's like Super Rabin."
All right. Well, it's like one of the things is like the fans have basically voted with their wallets, and like Amazing Spider-Man has been going down further and further down the list. And last month, Ultimate Spider-Man was number 3, just behind all Absolute Batman and Absolute Wonder Woman.
Yeah, those are hot.
Yeah, and
those got like buzz, and people want to buy those.
And just next week, it's going to be the first Absolute Superman, which I ended up getting because it fell off the back of a truck. But like, also,
by the way, I'm a friend of Wes's chat and mine too. If you know her, AL from New York City, she went to New York City Comic Con, and she snagged me an Absolute Batman NYCC exclusive with the Frank Miller cover, and she sent it to me. Yeah, Totally. Oh, dude, yeah. It's like you can't find that anywhere, dude.
So it's going like, and next week is going to be the last issue of Venom War Spider-Man, and
thank God.
I just hope Colin Kelly nails the last of it, because like the dialogue he's had with Venom and Spider-Man has been interesting, but like it really shows how Peter has been lying to himself, and it just shows that the fans were basically right, and he still cares about Mary Jane. And
yeah,
and it just shows like how that even Venom, the guy who wanted to kill the thing that wanted to kill Mary Jane, knew that Mary Jane was the best thing that ever happened to Peter. So yeah, that actually was the bright side of Colin Kelly's Venom War, and especially when he kept dissing.
Venom War Carnage by Torrin Grunbeck is amazing.
Yeah, I didn't do.
Bam.
I didn't get that. I didn't get Venom or Carnage. I ended up getting like Lethal Protectors and Venomous. I did like Venomous. It was a good book, and I also ended up getting the original Venom War. Al Ewing has been doing a great job with Venom, and like another thing that a lot of people were basically mad at, it was because it was supposed to be a Spider-Man panel, but it was mainly about Venom during the Spider-Man panel. And like, I mean, they did have a good announcement. It was Spider-Verse versus Venomverse, and I did like the Venomverse Rebirth anthology comics. But anyways, I saw that you were looking at your local game shop, and Sully, the other day.
That's where I'm moving. There's a game and hobby shop right there in the square. Like, oh, look at that! Nice. Yeah, I'm have to check that out. They have game nights, or they have maybe like I've got like 29 unbuilt Gunpla kits. Maybe they have like bring your own kit night and just like hang out with people and build your model. That would be fun.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna look at the best horror themed Warhammer minis, and like the only ones that are best are horror themed are from Age of Sigmar, because they have an entire faction of death.
I'm sure a lot of the Chaos kits are horror themed. The whole nature of it is pretty horrific.
So like, oh, this one is really good. The White King steel on skeletal steed.
Okay, so this is Warhammer, not Warhammer 40K.
No, it's Warhammer Age of Sigmar.
Okay.
So yeah, this one looks so badass.
It does look pretty good. I like the horse.
Yeah. And especially the detail on the armor.
And that comes unpainted?
Yeah, it comes unpainted. And this one.
Yeah, they come on sprues now, like a Gunpla. It kind of looks like the stuff that Gunpla hands are made out of. Like they're sort of grey plastic, and you break the parts off, glue them together, and then glue it on the stand.
So this is Evia Volga the Outcast. So yeah, just just good luck trying to carry that around without breaking it.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, look, I like the bats and everything, but look at you. I'm afraid I might break it just by looking at it.
Yeah,
So
those
this one,
bats look delicate.
yeah.
What are your painting skills like?
Mine are very beginner. Oh, here's another one that looks like it's going to be difficult to transport.
Do you paint your gunpla, Eric, or do you just snap build?
I would snap build it. I don't have any room for it now, so after I
Yeah.
move, I might find myself with time and display space. You know, like I'm gonna
What
have a
ones
new.
have you got? Have you got some master grades, or are they all?
I've got one master grade. They're mostly real grades. I'm into
Some of those parts on those real grades are real fiddly. The lens piece for the real grade Sinanju was the smallest piece of plastic. That, like, if you dropped that in your kitchen and it bounced off the tiles, that would go into the ether.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is one of the.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, that is one of the things that if you drop it, you will never find it again.
No, it was the lens was that small. It was smaller than a human contact lens, you know, like, and they can often disappear. So you just gotta be careful with your pieces.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, and so they're mostly 00 Gundams as well. It's my favorite of the Gundam series. But I do have one master grade. I'm looking forward to it. It's not the Zaku. It's the other one, the blue one.
Rick Dom.
Is it the Zaku, the one with the horn on the shoulder?
Spike. Yeah.
And but it's beautiful. It's so simple. I love that. I love the Xeon design.
Yeah, for sure. I love I love the Char's counterattack stuff. That's probably my favorite movie. So I love all of the Xeon mobile suits from
because
that specific movie. But I like
mono eye. It's just a big part of it. Just the aesthetic.
The red comet designs that they do for Char Aznavour's mobile suits is kind of my favorite aesthetic for the Xeon ones. You know, just the red. Like, there's a red comet Kshatriya, like a metal one that you can get, and that's so nice. As the Kshatriya high grade was the last one I bought when I went.
It's the goof. That's what I got.
Oh, the goof.
Yeah, I got a goof, and it's got that big horn on its shoulder, and just like, and the whip. It's so I
Some
love
of these
the
look
design.
real good, but you can get some real good paint jobs on these high grade ones. You know. Because they're not too fiddly, and they've got like the big panel areas that you can sort of, you know, do some creative paint jobs on them.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to. I've been a fan of Gundam for a long time, but I don't do the models. I mainly do Warhammer models.
Yeah, I think a lot of more people tend to airbrush Gunpla than they do. You know, you do get people obviously airbrushing Warhammer as well nowadays, but a lot more, I'd say, Warhammer people start off hand brushing.
Yeah. So any upcoming events you guys are excited for? Because I am going to Fan Expo at the end of the month.
Yay! Fan Expo where, San Fran?
Yeah.
I may be attending Birmingham Comic Con this month because there's a potential meetup with some of the Comicsgate UK people.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I'm not 100% confirmed.
Are you gonna go toilet paper as his house?
No, he lives in Yorkshire. He don't live in.
Where they make the pudding?
Yeah, he is a pudding. But yeah,
melting snowman. What?
Yeah, we went to the.
I didn't say that in Minecraft.
To the London Comic Con, and there was a very small meetup of a couple of people. It was good. It was myself, Commie Mark, Thomas, Hook, and That was it. Yeah.
So it's always good to go to cons and meet up with other fellow nerds.
Cool.
I mean, I went to three different cons this year.
That's cool. Yeah.
Your guys' ones are bigger than the ones we have, I've got to say.
Yeah.
That's what she said. But I was this weekend is Providence, Rhode Island Comic Con, and they got a really good list of people showing up, but it was just the charge to get in was like, it's not too far away from Boston. It's 45 minutes on the rail, and but it's like $75 a day to get in, just to spend $40, $50, $200 each on autographs for the opportunity to spend more money. No, I mean, I think that's just got to be cheaper, yo.
Yeah. I guess who's going to be at Fan Expo?
Gina Carano.
No, it's another one.
Drunk 3PO.
No, she basically is now the head of a sinking ship, IDW.
Oh, Heather Antos.
Yeah.
Well, cool.
Yeah.
Say hi to her. Tell her I say hi.
Yeah.
And be nice to her. Just you know what I mean? Say hi. Just walk up to her and say hi. And she's gonna look at you with those fucking dead eyes and think that you're full of shit for saying hi to her. Seriously. And just I just want to say hi and bye. That's it.
So you sounds like you speak from experience.
I did. I went and said hi to her at Fan Expo Boston. Yeah. I just wanted to say hi. I just wanted to say hi. How do you like the city? Hi. Yeah. I've seen her before.
Those dead eyes, Eric. The shark. the dead
shark. He bites into you and they roll back. Here's the swimming with bow-legged women. They're great. Oh, to you sweet Spanish ladies.
Gonna need a bigger boat.
To you ladies of Spain. Opa!
All right, so if anybody else doesn't have anything,
Bandito, I'm sorry, I've got to drop out, mate.
Yeah, we're gonna
catch up with you soon.
We're gonna end the stream right now. So
okay. Oh wow.
Yeah. All right. So everybody, this has been Bandito Bane, the well-rounded nerd, the Super Spider-Man fan, and the Warhammer dude. And Kenzo, and thanks to Kenzo, thanks to Gray, thanks to Sully for showing up on our late
great to catch up, boys.
Yeah,
on our late Halloween.
Everyone.
Nice. On our late Halloween special. And remember, keep playing, and God bless.
God bless.